Alrighty. This is not going to be a popular video, in part because none of mine are, frankly, but also because it goes heavily against common sentiment and opinion. In the course of this small discussion, I ask only that you keep an open mind and that you check out evidences for yourself. Take nothing I say as a fact. That being said, killing Paladin Danse is, according to these speculations at any rate, a good thing. We will base this argument on evidences from the game and speculation thereof. To begin with, although the character you come to befriend and fall in love with potentially tells you many stories about his life, synths do not age. As a matter of fact, it makes a key point of telling us repeatedly that synths do not age. This is part of the problem the Institute has with its espionage program, as well as part of the moral dilemma with them making the child synth. It's why they have to swap out units that have even been performing effectively in their spying roles. What they do is transfer memories, or as best approximate emulation of memories as they can manage, into a unit. As Paladin Danse is still recognizable to the Brotherhood of Steel, and as he does have the memories of a life lived from childhood, there was an actual Paladin Danse, and he has been murdered. He has been replaced by this synth. This is not technically the synth's fault, but neither is the personality you're interacting with in any way his own. Now then, we come across, in the Institute scenario, the idea that the Institute somehow already knows about Liberty Prime, as well as the weak points on the Pridwin. They know how to reprogram Liberty Prime. They know the details about the Brotherhood leadership. They know where the Brotherhood leadership is and how best to send a message to them. It is proposed by this theory that Danse is the one who told them. You might protest that he could not have had time, but the game gives us plenty of examples where there are conversations he has, with Elder Maxon or the Captain, for instance, that you cannot yourself observe as a player. His recommendations to even get you into the Brotherhood, for example. We furthermore learn that coursers can communicate with the Institute without any signs of a visible handheld device. They can, as it were, radio for evac or reinforcements simply by seemingly talking into the air, with connections inside their heads. We further learn that the Institute can even manipulate the memories of those that serve it, either wiping them completely in the case of a renegade synth, or partially, to conceal activities, as is done by Patriot, on the railroad side. With all this in mind, the Institute programmed Paladin Danse's replacement to first lure the Brotherhood in, knowing that they were a threat from their days observing the Commonwealth with Director Zimmer, then planned to kill him, utilizing Elder Maxon as a means to scare the Brotherhood out west, to display the power of the Institute and to get them to not fuck with them any further. Paladin Danse would be privy to several secrets that you, the player, do not find out about until Maxon himself gives Danse permission to tell you, or elects to show you himself. Danse, on the other hand, is kept as a completely blind-sided servant who believes he is loyal to the Brotherhood as part of the act. Danse will continue to serve with the Brotherhood even if you go through the Institute ending, because it is in the Institute's best interests to make it seem like they are a superpower that predicted all of the Brotherhood's movements, rather than an effective spy organization. If one of their best members turned turncoat on them in the middle of the final battle, it would just make the Western Brotherhood suspicious, whereas this way, it makes them terrified. There is also the matter of the Institute knowing about the mass fusion building, and the Brotherhood's own intentions on it. Make no mistake, in order for them to know either of these extremely closely kept Brotherhood secrets, some of them literally sealed behind series of walls and soldiers, they have to have inside information. There are people who feel that Maxon is a monster for the way that he reacts to Danse. But consider that this Danse, who has been recently made and is entirely possibly leaking all of Maxon's secrets, is also not the Danse he knew. It is a soulless machine vampire that has sucked down his personality, his emotions, and is emulating him. Maxon is being forced into the role of Jonathan Harker, or his own friend Arthur, when they're facing down Lucy, or Mina, with a terrible, terrible Dracula puppeting what used to be their loved one. That disgust, that anger, it is entirely earned. You, the player, are only sympathetic to Danse because of the stories he tells you and the assistance he gives you. But those stories are not his own. That life is not his own. And the assistance is mandated. What else would he do? What will he do now that he has free will? Certainly he seems willing to fire on the Brotherhood now that he's in exile. If you let him live, and if you don't permit the Brotherhood to end his little wretched existence. The little elements that support Danse not being a monster are basic. Danse's behavior, which is copied, Danse bringing you into the Brotherhood, which furthered the agendas of the Institute, and permitted you, yourself, to get an idea of what the Brotherhood's ideology was like, possibly decide against it, and, of course, the player's sentimentality. It is the last one that makes most people side with Danse as a person. Well, there's no denying Danse was a person. It's whether he is now that is absolutely a question. But given that the Brotherhood's MO is to try to prevent the likes of the Omni Crisis, or the Terminator Skynet, or the many other futures where rogue machines can wind up causing devastation, and given that this is, again, very likely a traitor, it's entirely understandable Danse's fate. But, again, so much speculation. Make up your own minds. Thank you for listening if you did.